the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome in here tonight, race fans, to the Five Flags Speedway tonight. The Summer Ball 100 for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series tonight, brought to us by the Upstate Racing League. Tonight, this half-mile speedway, well, it may be most famously known for the Snowball Derby. Tonight, though, there's no snow. It might be a derby, but it's going to be a great one here with these drivers of the Upstate Racing League. And I can tell you the first thing tonight that's going to kick things off, it's, well, telling you race fans that Kelly Dahl is back in the booth here with myself. Kelly, welcome to the Five Flags Speedway.
Yeah, it's great to be back here after a couple weeks off. I was hoping for only one, ended up being 2, but I'm here now for the last 2 races of the season. Hopefully I didn't miss all too much, but I'm excited to close this season out here.
Yeah, that's right. It all starts right here tonight. Race number 9 at the Five Flags Speedway, and then next week the season wraps up at Lanier. Coming into the night, though, Guillaume Fortin's been on one heck of a tear. He continues to lead the points championship standings over Brian Hacker and Mike Alexander. Those are the top 3 coming into the night in the points championship standings. They have been putting themselves in the top 5, doing exactly what they needed here this past season. But Guillaume, Kelly, he's been on a tear. 5 wins this season already.
Yeah, and for the most part, they have been extremely clean as well. I don't have the up-to-date incident count, but as of just a couple weeks ago, I think he's the only driver in the field to have 0 incidents the entire season. So he has been keeping his nose clean, and that has been paying off for him.
Not only has he kept his nose clean, he has not finished outside the top 2 this season, and he'll start right here tonight inside, well, the top 2, because he is the driver that will take the pole here tonight. Let's get you that starting lineup. It'll look like this here tonight for the Summer Ball 100. Starting on the front row, car number 13G. It's the points championship leader, 5-time winner on the series this season. That'll be Guillaume Fortin. To the outside of him, car number 6 out of Wisconsin. That'll be Joe Schaefer Jr. How about Bill Martin, the best qualifying effort he's had this season? Car number 39 will roll from the 3rd spot. Back into the 4th spot, Matthew Barkhouse always shows a lot of speed here in qualifying. Car number 15 will roll from 4th. It's the driver that is second in the points championship standings with 2 wins to match his car number. Car number 2, that'll be Brian Hacker rolling from 5th. How about the Wiley veteran, the Colony Tire and Service Center number 54, that'll be Rex Hoyle going from 6th. And how about the Rev Racing number 75, that'll be Mike Alexander rolling from 7th. Right alongside him, car number 91 here tonight, Adam Gable will go from 8th. 9th position, it's the jump man number 23 out of Illinois, that'll be Gary Eschen. And how about the car number 46? Philip Martin will round out the top 10.
Rolling off in 11th is going to be the number 5 of Scott Austin with that 23 machine of Blade Timmons to his outside. The big boss man of Al Smith Jr. is going to be rolling off in 13th, and Gavin Isley will be to his outside in 14th. Row number 8 is going to see Jason Dobbs rolling off on the inside with a 15 of Ryan Holland to the outside. Mike Peake is going to be along with all of his teammates back there in 17th. With Tyler Bushy is another one of his teammates to his outside. Matt Eddy will start on the tail end of the field in 19th, and Rodney Huntoon starting shotgun in 20th.
That's our 20-car field here tonight for the Summer Ball 100 for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. Best Colorful Creations, well, she's got all the creations from cake pops to regular cakes. Best Colorful Creations is the cake provider for the Upstate Racing League, and I rub it in all the time to Kelly that he has not had one of the best cake pops, and I hope that Al Smith gets some of those and sends them down here to the studio in Pennsylvania, because, man, they are delish.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some either. I mean, I'm still pretty low in my weight class. I can afford to gain a couple pounds, so I wouldn't mind a couple cake pops sent up my way as well.
Hey, you talk about your weight class, Kelly. Talk about it. Where have you been?
Well, 2 weeks ago, I was down in Mexico City for the International Medieval Combat Federation World Championships, where I qualified to represent Team Canada in the heavyweight division, and I have come home with a third place medal this time, so hopefully next year down in Houston, I'll be able to upgrade that one to a gold.
Houston, so that's in the United States, right?
That is.
We're going to talk now, see if we can get the awards banquet down in Houston. How about that? That'd be one heck of a sight. See some of the drivers that you see on the screen here tonight with the Best Golf Corporations Pro Series, along with Kelly Dahl. And, well, hey, you never know. I'm known to travel a time or two around this country. But now tonight, we travel virtually here to the Five Flags Speedway, and it is time to fire it off. 100 laps here tonight for the Summer Ball. 20 drivers, all the way from Guillaume Fort and Joe Schaefer Jr. back to Matt Eddy and Rodney Hahn-Toon back there in 19th and 20th. Let's see which one of these drivers are going to outlast here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. Green flag is up as we send them side by side to turn one.
Joe Schaefer trying to make that outside line work, but it is not quite going to happen this time as they are even up going down that back straightaway. Cars scattering throughout the field. Everyone trying to find that fastest line, but as we can tell from the front of the field, those two lines are completely even. Joe Schaefer Jr., I think, is going to have his nose ahead by a 100th of a second at the line. And now Guillaume Fortin, he's going to be charging back, getting a bit more momentum through the bottom side of turn 1 and 2.
That Toyota, that number 13 down on the bottom side, getting a good rotation off the corner. A little contact as they rub that time off turn number 4. That'll send the Epic Media number 6 up the banking just a little bit. That time, about a half a car length is now what Guillaume Fortin's going to have on the bottom side of the Speedway. But a great run out of turn number 2. And Guillaume making a rare mistake that time down into 3. And Schaefer going to have to slide up the Speedway to avoid the contact between the top two runners. Here comes the number 15, Matthew Barkhouse, now throwing his hat into the ring.
Yeah, Barkhouse now trying to get take away that second spot there as Joe Schaefer Jr. is having to drop back just a little bit. Schaefer still rolling that outside line well, and pretty much no one else is at this moment. So I think if he stays up there, that line is going to come in a little bit as that bottom line starts to heat up. But at the moment, just doesn't quite have the momentum on that outside to make the pass. But he is able to stick with that bottom lane quite well.
Bill Martin, the doctor, back there sitting into the 4th position right now, watching those two drivers battle for second. That's the best battle on the Speedway right here inside the top 5. Let's keep it locked right here as you see Matthew Barkhouse. He's picked up 2 spots as he gets underneath that number 6 machine. Should be able to clear this time off forward. No, he won't. Not at the start-finish line, just by the splitter of car number 6 was Joe Schaefer still to the outside. See if he can funnel into line here. Here's a spot if Joe Schaefer wanted to concede the second position and just hold on to third and get to the bottom side. It looks like that's exactly what he will do. He'll slide between Matthew Barkhouse and Bill Martin. So it'll be Fortin, Barkhouse, Schaefer, Martin, and Hacker, the top 5 here after we have completed 7 laps here at the Five Flags Speedway.
I think the field is now completely single file until you get all the way back there to Al Smith Jr., who just got shoved up the racetrack. Now he's going to get himself down to the bottom side. We still have Jason Dobbs, though, on that in the 14th spot, or battling for 14th with the 88 of Matt Eddy, and now he's actually going to get shoved way up the racetrack as well.
Yeah, Matt Eddy in that Pontiac right there. He has actually picked up 5 spots since the drop of the green flag, so he is the biggest mover so far here tonight. The driver that has lost the most spots early on in this one, still a lot of racing left to go, car number 46. That is Philip Martin. There's you see him, and sideways for Tyler Bushy. That 9's Taxi's got real loose down on the bottom side of the Speedway, that time out of turn number 2, and out of turn 4, he is drifting it like he is in Tokyo Drift. They call him DK.
It looks like he's still struggling to maintain control of that car as he gets loose again off of 2, and he is going to have to pin that thing to the bottom side as now he's got one of his teammates, Mike Peake, on his outside. That 15 car, Bushy, is struggling as he has got overheated tires at this point. He has got no grip, and now he's way up the racetrack once more, trying to cool them off, but that's only going to make things worse as he picks up a bunch of marbles.
Battle for the race lead, though, here out of turn number 4. Here comes Matthew Barkhouse down to the bottom side of the number 13 of Guillaume Fortin. Looks like Guillaume might give him the spot, but a little bit of a wiggle there out of Matt. And that will bring the 13 of Fortin back to the outside. Now Joe Schaefer Jr. is going to throw his hat into the ring now. Also, 3-car battle for the race lead here on lap number 14. It's been hot and heavy ever since we started here tonight. A couple of them shuffling around. No caution lights are on. Ryan Holland here on the front straightaway is turned around.
A big crash looks like involving about 5 or 6 cars there, namely Blade Timmons and Matt Eddy looks like he's got a lot of damage to his car as well.
So we're going to have to see here as the 15 of Ryan Holland tries to get it pointed back into the right direction. Take a look. Let's watch this one back here as we watch. See what happened to Ryan Holland. You see him, he was battling with the 88th of Matt Eddy there out in front of him. That's 23 of Timmons. Looks like Timmons, and Timmons makes hard contact, and he goes for a ride. There's Holland. He goes for a slide backwards, and unfortunately, Blade Timmons is going to walk away with a ton of damage. Philip Martin involved in that one also.
Matt Eddy now down on pit road along with Mike Peak, Al Smith Jr., Jason Dobbs, and Blade Timmons all trying to get some damage repair. I'm actually kind of surprised to see Al down there because I thought he had gotten away from that without any damage, but may have banged up his car just a little bit.
Right on board here with Ryan Holland. You see the contact with Timmons, and then he ends up down against the inside wall. Everybody else getting into a scuffle. Dobbs went for a heck of a ride. Martin, heavy damage on car number 46 there also. So a lot of these drivers are going to have to see what's left of their machines here tonight. The Five Flag Speedway, a half-mile speedway, and you can say downforce does play a big factor here. So if you crinkle up that right front fender, you're going to feel it late in the run.
Yeah, it does make a bit of a difference here as this is one of the larger tracks we do go at, and now seeing Matthew Barkhouse dipping down into the grass there, actually going to turn 3. Don't know if he was just maybe reaching for something on his desk or next to his rig, but kind of drifted away there. But yeah, this is one of the larger tracks that we do come to in the Upstate Racing League, so aerodynamics will play a small factor in it because these guys are pretty much hitting the chip as they go into 1 and 3.
So looking at it right now, Blade Timmons down on pit road, Jason Dobbs down on pit road. They have gone laps down along with Matt Eddy. Philip Martin was able to return to the racetrack. He is currently sitting 1 lap down along with Michael Peak. And I believe Ryan Holland currently sitting a lap down also. We'll continue to monitor them as Al Smith is back down on pit road. He will come back out. There you see the boss man, the Upstate Promotions. Number 96 coming back out onto the Speedway, currently sitting 14th. The biggest mover when you look at it is a driver that did get a little damage in that car, number 47. That is the 802 Precision Rodney Hontoon driven car. There you see car number 47 VT. If you're following along at home, there you see him on the screen. Field being told, though, double him back up. We're ready to go back racing.
Yeah, Matthew Barkhouse going to be in control of the field this time when we come to green, as he did get around Guillaume Fortin just before the caution came out. So we'll have to see what that 15 car can do at the front of the field now. Pace car down and away. And as we enter the restart zone, that 15 takes off. Guillaume trying to see if he could get down to the bottom, but cannot change lanes until the start-finish line. And now it is Joe Schaefer Jr. starting to fill that gap there on the bottom side for second place. Guillaume Fortin going to have to try to get a good run off the high side. He gives Joe a little bit of squeeze just behind them. Contact between Bill Martin and Brian Hacker, but Brian, big wiggle. He's able to maintain control. They're 3 wide now. Bill Martin going to get around the 75 of Alexander as he drops back in the line.
Yeah, that 3 wide battle back there, and they're not done going 3 wide. Look just behind him, the orange car to the outside. That is Scott Austin. There's the 91. That is Adam Gable, and then Gavin Isley was right there. They were looking to go 3 wide also, and you never thought you were going to see 3 wide racing here tonight at the Five Flag Speedway. Well, guess what? The Upstate Racing League and their drivers, they say, hold my beer. Watch this.
If a car can fit, they will go for it if they've got a run, but that third lane is just not quite going to work. So it was pretty smart for Alexander to drop back, but now he still can't quite make the outs of the second lane work against the 91 of Adam Gable. Gable rolling that inside lane quite well, and he's going to get his nose around, and now that 75 is going to drop down into line. Oh, actually, he's going to try to cross him up. Great move. He's got a good run off of turn number 4. That's going to get him to the door of Adam Gable. He had a ton of speed with that crossover.
Utilizing the banking to get a mile an hour or 2 behind the wheel of that number 75, and he will make the pass. Adam Gable back to the 8th spot. Mike Alexander back to running in 7th. So those 2 drivers exchanging their positions. Everybody else pretty much has gone single file. You have to go way deep into the field for a couple of these drivers. One driver there to the outside, that's Ryan Holland. There's Al Smith, and I believe that is the W6 of Michael Peak. Peak and Holland are battling for position. Al Smith, though, is running 14th on the lead lap. These other 2 cars battling for the lucky dog position.
And that looks like a lot of damage to the front end of Mike Peak still. He did come down pit road, but that right front is destroyed. Same with the 15 right behind him. Those two teammates just not having a good run tonight with their banged up race cars.
The only way to tell the difference between those two cars is the number on the side of them painted up the same and the damage looking the same. Unfortunately for both those drivers, they haven't had the best of campaigns this year on the asphalt side of things, but it's good to see them out here still having some fun with the boys on a Wednesday night. What's better than short track racing right here on iRacing on a Wednesday night, a hump day, as you watch Matthew Barkhouse and Joe Schaefer Jr., who are currently running 1 and 2 on the Speedway. Right behind them, Guillaume Fortin, Brian Hacker, Bill Martin rounding out the top 5. And then it's Mike Alexander, Gary Eschen now getting moved to the outside. There's the black number 23, the Jumpman entry of Gary Eschen. He's running 7th. Adam Gable, Scott Austin, and Gavin Isley having his best run of the season inside the top 10 here. This time by we're complete lap number 29 out of the 100 laps scheduled here tonight for the Summer Ball 100.
And Scott Austin trying to get himself to the inside of Adam Gable. Gable going to run the outside a little bit better, and a bit of a skid there off of turn 2 is going to kill any sort of chance that Scott Austin had at going for that 8th position. Up at the front, though, I've seen Joe Schaefer kind of creeping up to the bumper of Matthew Barkhouse. It seemed a couple times like he could have possibly hooked the bottom a little bit better and got his nose to the inside of the 15. So we have to keep an eye on the front of the field. That 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. has got some pace, but now it seems like Barkhouse is turning it up a little.
We've seen Barkhouse have a lot of speed early on in these events here the last couple of weeks, and then the wheels kind of start to fall off. Joe Schaefer Jr., a veteran of the series. Matthew Barkhouse, I believe this is his second full-time season here with the Upstate Racing League. Still learning, if you will, compared to the knowledge that Schaefer and Fortin and Hacker, along with Martin and Alexander, all have. So for the driver with a little less experience to run up front here with these drivers shows that he certainly has the pace, but can he put the long run together here tonight is what's going to be the question, because when you look at the points championship standings, he is just sitting there in that 5th position, just a handful of points back behind Scott Austin, and Austin, he's inside the top 10 also, so a good points night right now. Matthew Barkhouse was able to hang on to his finishing position.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of racing to go as we come by to finish lap 34 of 100. So there's still a long time that Matthew Barkhouse has got to hang on to this lead, and things get shaken up as well. We've seen multiple times throughout the year as the caution has come out, a number of the field have come down, taken tires, some haven't, and we've seen those strategies play out in different ways. So really there is still not much we can go off of to really predict the winner at this point. It's still anyone's game within this top 5.
Pass back here for the 10th position. There is the driver out of North Carolina, Rex Hoyle, making a pass on Gavin Isley. The Isley will fall back into the 11th running position currently here on the Speedway. 37 laps will be in the books next time by. Everybody else still following along here on the bottom. The conveyor belt effect right now. These drivers probably trying to save their tires here tonight to try and work late in this one to pick up a couple positions. Here's a battle, though, starting to brew. Scott Austin all over the back end of the number 23 of Gary Eschen. Eschen currently holding the 7th spot. Scott Austin back there in the orange, well, our bias color pick here tonight. Car number 5 there of Scott Austin will work to the bottom side. Looks like Eschen not going to put up much of a fight. He'll fall back, but oh, look at the 91. Adam Gable going to pounce.
Yeah, Gable saw his opportunity, and he went for it. Scott Austin opened the door, and Gable shoved his foot in before the 23 of Eschen could close it. And that's going to get him a spot, and now is actually going to maybe even give a spot to Rex Hoyle. Hoyle not quite able to get the run off of turn 4, and that's actually going to allow Gary Eschen to stop the bleeding. He's going to hang on to 9th place right now, but oh, just behind them car going way up the racetrack. That's the 18 of Gavin Isley, almost getting into the wall off of turn number 2.
Yeah, it looked like Isley had a lot of wheel into that. Gavin Isley running dirt up in the New York area here this season. Ran with the dirt side of things with you, Kelly, and with the big block modifieds. Now this asphalt season joining us here. Still getting himself adjusted as he dips his feet into the asphalt racing here with Upstate Racing. Having himself a good night, though. 3 positions gained. He did run inside the top 10 prior. Well, we're not quite to the halfway point here yet at 5 flags. We're working close to it. Larry Sleater, though, still Matthew Barkhouse. Joe Schaefer Jr. and Guillaume Fortin as they have started to pull away here from Brian Hacker and Bill Martin, who are running 4th and 5th here on lap number 43.
Yeah, a little 3-car breakaway towards the front of the field, and actually looked like Barkhouse got a little loose coming off of turn number 2. And each one of them has got a slightly different line for these corners. As Barkhouse is staying further up the racetrack, Joe goes a bit lower, and then you see Guillaume getting all the way down. And a couple times he's even been hooking the apron there through turns 1 and 2 to try to help him turn. And that seems to be working out for him, as he's getting right up to the bumper of that Epic Media machine, and he may be pressuring him for a pass to get himself back into second place.
Kelly, we talked earlier about the veterans there behind the wheel of car number 6 and the car number 13, as you see Guillaume Fortin go to the inside here. Are they maybe pacing themselves off car number 15 right now, Matthew Barkhouse, that, maybe not trying to let him get away, but stay there with him and try to conserve a little bit?
I think that is definitely the plan, is to just stay with him and try not to burn off the tires. But now, as actually they fight for position, that may not have been the case, because this is going to burn up their tires more than just trying to chase after the 15 of Barkhouse, as these two battle hard for position. That 6 of Schaefer not giving it up just yet, but Guillaume diving hard into the corner. Oh, side by side coming off of turn number 2. Will give it a little bit of an advantage to Joe Schaefer Jr., though. As we actually have a car coming down pit road. That looks to be Ryan Holland.
Yeah, Holland going to pull it to pit road. I was going to say there's a slower car right ahead of your race leaders, but he does get out of the way. That was Ryan Holland coming to pit road. Michael Peak will be the next driver that could possibly be in the way of the race leaders, as you see Joe Schaefer Jr. drift high that time out of turn 2. And I hand it to Guillaume Fortin. So it's Barkhouse, Fortin, Schaefer is how they are running there in the top 3. And as they did that, Matthew Barkhouse was able to stretch it out to about a 3-car length lead, maybe almost 4 or 5 now. And Brian Hackett's been able to close in a little bit in the Austin Designs number 2. So this race far from over, as this time by out of turn number 4, we get the halfway flags actually next time by. Trying to count a lap ahead. I didn't take my shoes off here tonight.
Well, we do have 4 cars that have basically called it a night here. Blade Timmons, Jason Dobbs, Matt Eddy, and Philip Martin all taking heavy damage in that first caution, and that will take them out of the race. 2 of them have pulled it behind the wall entirely, and that's just unfortunate for them, because that's just going to really be a short night for them.
Yeah, Martin himself in car number 46 had one of the fastest practice times here tonight. And he got a little out of shape in the opening stint, which put him behind the 8-ball back there into that mess that happened coming off turn number 4. And Dobbs, well, he was running off a high as he had picked up a win this past week with his RC car out there. He had the Stand RC Speedway and Al's Speed Shop on the side of that as he parked his buggy in victory lane. So came in tonight with a lot of hopes. Matt Eddy driving the only Pontiac in the field. He won't get the finish he thought he was going to get. And Blade Timmons, one of the drivers that had a really quick car in practice also, he'll finish back dead last here tonight. So those 4 drivers will hope to try and regroup next week when we head to the final race of the season at Lanier.
Well, our leaders just had to get by a lap car, and that has closed up the gap between the 15 and the 13. Guillaume Fortin now all over the back end of Matthew Barkhouse, and Fortin just seems to have saved those tires just a little bit better. He's seemingly getting a lot better of a run off of the turn, as that 15 slides way up the racetrack each time coming off of turns 2 and 4. And I'm going to expect to see Guillaume Fortin get his nose to the inside within a couple laps.
Yeah, watch the line that the 13 of Guillaume runs down here in turn number 1 and 2. He enters a little bit higher up there. Is he able to get the car back down on the bottom and rotate and gets a run off? Look at the momentum carry down the back straightaway for the 13. It'll pull him right to the back bumper of Matthew Barkhouse. Will we see a little contact here? As no, I thought maybe the speed difference that time out of turn 4 would put the 13 right up underneath the 15's back bumper, but look at it again, down, wrapping the bottom, much better for the 13. Will he have a run down the back straightaway? Barkhouse will slam the door in turn 3.
Yeah, seeing them come off of turn 2 is just a good visual representation of the health of their right front. You've seen that 15 car push a lot more towards the wall coming off the turn. You'll see here, Guillaume's able to keep it a lot tighter and able to drive off a lot straighter and is getting a good run off these corners. Now he's going to give a little bit of a tap, a little bit of a bump in the corner, but Guillaume backs off to prevent himself from sending that 15 spinning, and that is going to create a big gap between those 2 cars now.
Yeah, but that just heated up the tires on the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse, used a little more of that life, so Guillaume didn't slide as much with the 13, but Barkhouse completely sideways fishtailed the car, got it, kept the race lead, but those tires now, you got to think, how much heat did it build up in there? Here comes the 13 right back down to the bottom side in 1 and 2, just wraps it, and he is right there once again.
Yeah, he has got a lot better grip on that car right now, and you can just see it in every part of the turns. Guillaume has got the speed, but now he just has to find the positioning and find the timing. He's got to get himself to the inside of that 15 car, at least coming off of one of these turns, but he still has a lot of time to work. We've got 40 laps, just coming to 39 here as they come across the start-finish line this time. Guillaume's not quite got the pace, getting really close to the left rear corner of that 15 car, but able to back off now, coming down off of turn number 2, not quite going to get there either.
Car out in front of the race leaders is going to be the number 98 of Jason Dobbs. He's back out onto the speedway, so is Matt Eddy is here now down the front straightaway. The 13 of Guillaume will get to the inside of the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse as they run side by side through 1. Off turn number 2, there they are, door to door down the back straightaway. See which one of these drivers are able to get the run off turn 4. Guillaume down to the bottom, has about a fender length ahead at the line. Guillaume Fort and back to the race lead here, lap number 64. Let's see who will lead this one. Will Matthew Barkhouse challenge on the outside and try to pin that 13 to the bottom side? He gets a good run that time going into turn 3. See how they come out of 4. It'll be the 13G at the line.
Yeah, looking like there's some decent grip there in that second lane, but it's not quite going to be enough for Barkhouse as Guillaume going to slide up in front of him off of turn 2. Now Barkhouse looking to see if he can cross him up, but can't quite get the lunge into turn 3, and Guillaume going to close the door and regain the race lead here on lap 66.
As the battle for the race lead exchanges hands, Brian Hacker got around Joe Schaefer Jr. also for the 3rd position. So those two switching. It looks like Joe Schaefer into the wall a little bit that time out of turn number 2. The Epic Media number 6 one time was battling for the race lead. Now back there trying to hold on for a 4th place finish here. Still a little bit of racing left here tonight, so don't get too excited. Maybe Schaefer just kind of nursing that along right now. But we saw him locked in that battle with Guillaume for that 2nd position not that many laps ago, about 20 laps ago, and now that car has really started to fade through the field. Gary Eschen trying to hold on. Here comes Rodney Hontoon. Hontoon has been on the charge in the 802 Precision, number 47 VT. He will pick up his 13th spot gained here tonight. Running now 7th, and just up ahead of him, that is Bill Martin and Scott Austin, who continue to pass this position back and forth. Austin currently taking the 5th spot away from Bill Martin, but they've passed it back and forth here the last, let me take a look. Last 5 laps, they've just gone back and forth.
Yeah, Rodney Huntoon did not put in a qualifying lap. Don't know if he just wasn't able to get out there or if he tagged the wall on his attempts, but he's had to start all the way at the tail end of the field and has moved himself up into 7th and is still trying a few different things, trying a few different lines I'm seeing throughout at least the turns 1 and 2. Trying to see if he can maybe find some pace, just save those tires a little more to get himself a couple more spots before the end of this race.
Looking at it, we are working lap number 71 here. We saw the exchange for the race lead, and now the race lead has opened up. 1.2 seconds is the differential as, one driver down on the bottom side. Mike Alexander coming to pit road. Car number 75 down to the inside of 3 and 4. He will come to pit road. He was inside the top 10. I do believe these drivers have enough fuel, or at least I thought so.
Yeah, I believe they should have enough fuel. I don't know why Mike Alexander made the call to come down pit road, but that is going to cost him at least 1 lap here as he's going to get now down into his box and possibly replace some tires. But we're going to have to keep going along here as Guillaume Fortin is going to find himself in lap traffic. He's just got around Mike Peake, and now he's got Dobbs right in front of him, and Tyler Bushy as well, as now the 75 is coming back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, another driver we noticed a couple laps ago, remember the number 18 of Gavin Isley came to pit road. Now here comes Adam Gable coming to pit road. These drivers with the fall off on the tires and maybe the fuel, maybe they just can't make it.
Maybe the drivers don't think they can make it and they're trying to make a green flag stop now, but we'll have to see what these other drivers can do as the 75 now with his fresh tire is going to go roaring past the 15 of Barkhouse.
Also, now it makes me think, Kelly, the cog wheels in my head are turning, and I don't mean cobwebs, I mean cog wheels. Remember Joe Schaefer Jr., I said about, now at this point 30 laps ago, that car started to fade through the field. Is he possibly trying to save?
He could be trying to save if they don't have enough fuel, but I think every race so far this season, they have had enough in the tank to make it all the way to the end. It could be a case where they're afraid of actually blowing the tires from having too much wear on them, so they're pitting now and hoping that they can maybe charge back a little bit and wait until the leaders have to pit. As now we see that 75 going flying past the 13 of Guillaume Fortin and at least getting one of his laps back.
Yeah, as he gets that lap back, the number 39 of Bill Martin now coming to pit road. So some of your veterans, the drivers that save the most here, are on pit road. It's going to be 22 laps to go this time by. Guillaume Fortin going to see 22 go up on the scoring monitor here tonight. So who will be able to roll the dice and play the strategy the most here? It is a 1.6 second race lead for Guillaume Fortin. And then Brian Hacker's back there running into the third spot. He is currently sitting 3.3 seconds behind the race leader.
Oh, we got
Scott
a wreck
Austin
in front of the leader, and it almost catches Guillaume Fortin's wreck. Hoyle comes sliding up the racetrack right in front of Guillaume. I think Guillaume just saw the race flash before his eyes as he saw that 54 car sideways in front of him.
Well, that's going to throw the monkey wrench into a lot of strategies here. Alexander a lap down now. Martin 2 laps down. Gable 2 laps down. They all came to pit road. Let's take the look. What happened here to the 54? Watch the 54 out of turn 4. Got high. Looks like, something wrong with the right front tire. And I believe that was Gavin Isley. Oh, Guillaume. Boy, he barely got through. Let's see if we can get an onboard camera with the number 13. Right on board. This is on board with Guillaume Fortin, your race leader, as the caution flag coming out just ahead of him. Kelly, I don't think you could have put my hair between those two cars.
No, but he is going to come down pit road now and get a fresh set of tires and make sure the front end of that car is completely clean, because he may have at least got a little bit of paint on it from how close he was to Rex Hoyle. But this is also going to bring a couple of those drivers that did pit earlier back into the race, as they will be waved around the pace car and get their second lap back. But now they're going to have to deal with the fact that their tires are a couple laps older compared to the rest of the leaders. But at least this makes things easy for us. We no longer have to guess if everyone's going to make it, because we know for sure now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure with under 20 to go, a pit stop, right side tires, because I'm looking at that seems to be the strategy play for all the drivers here. Right side tires for everybody and fuel. So they're packed the fuel cells full, and they will get those fresh tires. So they are guaranteed good to go here all the way to the end of this one. Take a look here. We'll drop that scoring back down for you, race fans. That is how the running order is. We will have 10 cars on the lead lap. Mike Alexander, the last car on the lead lap, car number 75. And I'm taking a look. Rodney Hantoon, yep, still the driver that has picked up the most spots. 14-plus gain for Rodney Hantoon, and now he'll have some fresh tires.
Yeah, but everyone around him is going to have fresh tires as well, so we'll have to see what is going to happen here in these last about 15 or so laps that we're going to have left in this race. I think actually we may be going green. Yeah, I don't think we're shaping up just yet, so if I'm guessing correctly, there'll be 15 laps to go. The field is entirely bunched up and on fresh tires, so we're essentially getting a reset here. And we saw early on, Matthew Barkhouse had a good amount of speed in the short run, so this caution may help him.
It'll be Guillaume Fortin, Matthew Barkhouse, Brian Hacker, Scott Austin, Joe Schaefer Jr., Rodney Hantoon, Al Smith, Gary Eschen, Tyler Bushy, and Mike Alexander, the top 10 drivers. As they are told, double them back up or send a couple of the cars down around the pace car. They're tagged the back of the field, and we're getting ready to go back racing here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. It'll be 15 laps remaining for your race leader of Guillaume Fortin, seeing if he can pick up another one or at least keep the top 2 streak going for car number 13. And his championship rival, car number 2 of Brian Hacker, just behind him.
Lights back on the pace car, though. We're going to go around one more time, give the field time to bunch up after a large number of lap cars had to get waved back around the pace car. So we're going to make sure these guys are all formed up now, coming here across the line now. So lights will be back out, and we're going to have 14 to go once we go back green flag racing.
So if you wanted the Wednesday night short track racing and you wanted just a little bit of a shootout, well, we're giving you 14 laps of short track racing remaining here tonight. We've only had 2 caution flags here at the Five Flags Speedway, ready to go. Fortin to the inside, Barkhouse to the outside. Then it'll be Hacker to the inside of row number 2 with Scott Austin to the outside. Guillaume says, chase me if you can. Let's go back racing here.
Guillaume got a very good jump, but so did the 15 of Barkhouse, and he is going to have a lane to get himself back to the bottom, and we're going to have our top 3 single file. As actually Barkhouse going a little bit high on the entry into 3. That is going to give a door to the 2 of Hacker if he's able to get close enough. So he's got to be careful about that, but it is going to give him a better run out of the corner. Just behind them, the 5 of Scott Austin trying to battle with Joe Schaefer Jr., but Austin is going to have to drop back and give up that spot as that 6 just had the better line on the inside.
Yeah, Austin's going to get down to the inside, though, running into the 5th spot with the Austin Designs number 5. He'll cut off the nose of the number 96 of Al Smith Jr. And Al a little sideways there. He's getting a little bump from the jump man, number 23. That is Gary Eschen. Eschen will work to the inside here, and they're going to come to get 11 laps to go. Battle back here. This is for the 6th and 7th position between Gary Eschen and Al Smith. Smith to the outside. Eschen going to try and wrap the bottom.
Yeah, and Smith just using that freshly sweeped outside lane and trying to see if he can get some momentum on the high side. Not quite going to work out for him as that 23 car is going to take that position away. Not quite clear yet, so maybe there is an opportunity for the 96 to fight back.
These drivers laying down some of the fastest times we've seen all night long with just 10 laps to go. This time by it'll be 9 laps to go for the race leader of Guillaume Fortin. Matthew Barkhouse about a half a car length, maybe a car length now as it stretches down into turn number 1. A little bit of a slide there. Guillaume Fortin sideways through 1 and 2. That'll allow the 15 of Barkhouse and the 2 of Hacker to close in as they come to get 8 laps remaining.
Yeah, and that is also just going to be compounding issues there for the 13, is that they will heat up the tires and slow him up for at least a couple more turns here. So maybe an opportunity for the 15 is actually the 15 looked a little bit loose. Barkhouse trying to hang on to that race car while also just trying to get as much possible out of that machine.
7 to go and a little contact slide there coming by the start-finish line for the 13 of Guillaume Fortin. He's out front still leading the way. Call it a car length over the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse and another car length and a half back to Brian Hacker. 6 laps to go this time.
There's a few more laps here. Guillaume Fortin looking for another win here on the season. Barkhouse looking to take that away and get his first as he is still creeping up closer. We are going to have a fight for these last 5 laps of this race.
Matthew Barkhouse does have 1 win to his career here, 3 wins with his career with the Upstate Racing League, trying to, though, take on the driver that has the top spot in the points championship this season. It'll be 4 to go, and Barkhouse all over the back end of that number 13. 1 slip by the G-Man, and Barkhouse will be right there to pounce on that. There's 3 to go when they come back around.
Yeah, I've seen that 13 get loose a couple times. He does not have much grip on that car as he has overheated the tires, and the 15 is creeping up ever closer. Barkhouse gonna have an opportunity here. 3 to go. He's gonna have to make a move, and it's gonna have to be soon.
You can tell that Guillaume is really putting a lot of pressure on that right front tire. That car does not have the rotation through turns 1 and 2 that it had before. Seems like G may be a little bit better as they get the popsicle sticks here. G may be better down here in 1 and 2, but I think Barkhouse is better over in 3 and 4.
Yeah, last time around, though, Barkhouse, got loose off of 4, and that killed a lot of the momentum he had. White flag going to be up in the air one more time around for Guillaume. Big power through 3 and 4 for that 15 car. He is pushing hard on those tires.
Final trip through turns 1 and 2. There you see it, a half a car length is the gap between the top 2. G down the back straightaway into 3 for the final time. Just has to make 2 quarters. Here comes Barkhouse with a slide. He was almost there, but it will go to the 13. Guillaume Fortin picking up the win here tonight. It'll be Fortin, Barkhouse, Hacker across the line, the top 3. Joe Schaefer Jr., Scott Austin, Gary Eschen, Al Smith back in 7th, Rodney Huntoon, Mike Alexander, and Tyler Bushy is how they all come across the line here. A great race here tonight at the Five Flag Speedway, and it all is G-Man here tonight. Guillaume Fortin picking up another win with the series, and that, my friends, may just about clinch the championship into next week. Running the quick math, it looks like he has to show up.
Yeah, that might do it for Guillaume. We'll have to see if that will be the case. I mean, we're not exactly known for our math skills, so
I attempted to take my shoes off here, Kelly. I attempted.
But I think you're right, though. With the amount of wins he has had, he has got to be just a lock for our points championship.
But we'll have to find out, though. Don't go anywhere, race fans, because, don't take our word for that. This was a great race here tonight at Five Flags. Wait to hear it from the top 3 competitors right after these messages.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Five Flags Speedway here, race fans, as 100 laps is completed here tonight for the Summer Ball 100. Tonight brought to us by Best Colorful Creations. The Upstate Racing League came here, and they put on one heck of a show. Just 2 caution flags here tonight to be able to park someone in victory lane. And I can officially say I don't have to talk to the winner here tonight because we have given those duties to Kelly Dahl. Kelly, you got the winner.
Yeah, caught up now with the winner of our race here tonight, Guillaume Fortin. Guillaume, we had a lot of green flag running here tonight. I mean, how did you just focus on saving those tires on the right side of that car?
Yeah, once I got past with the lead, and after that first caution, I ended up third, and I just kind of ride behind Joe and Matthew, trying to save the right front the best I can, and I think it showed that I saved a good bit. Because at the end, before the last caution, I think I had a 2-second lead on Matthew, and I think the tires were still pretty decent to finish the race, but my pace on the newer tire was lacking a little bit, so I got scared with that last caution.
Yeah, he was coming up close to you, but you did manage to hold him off. But you guys did trade positions a couple of times throughout this race. I mean, did you find it easier to pass here at this track than some of the others we've had over this season?
I mean, at the start of a run, I think the speed is pretty even between everybody, so the outside doesn't get so much of a run. But on the older tire, I think you can get the outside is good and the inside too, so you can make passes if you save your car and your tires a lot. So it was pretty fun to race in with the long green flag run that we had.
Well, with you pretty much locking up a second championship, next week at Lanier, are you just going to go all out to try to get one more win on the season?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be there. I might have something that comes up on Wednesday night next week, but hopefully I'll be there, and hopefully I'll be able to cap off the season with another win and one of my best seasons so far in URL.
I mean, that is for sure. I think coming into this season, you only had a couple of wins to your name from last season, but yeah, you have more. I think you had 2 wins last season, your first 2 wins in this series. And now I believe you're coming out of here with at least 6, so I think it's safe to say you have had a good season this year.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. This year I haven't finished outside of the top 2, so hopefully next week goes well again and I'll be able to snag the second straight championship.
All right, well, you are more than familiar with what goes on here and what our routine is, so before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your run here tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank Gestion LPG. They're doing workstation, pit boxes, and also everything you need for the race trailer. So if you need anything for the season that is coming up soon enough. I hit them up, and also Al for putting up this awesomely, and you guys for putting up an awesome show every week.
All right, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. Congratulations once again on your win, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to be sending it back to Roger, who I believe will have caught up with our second place finisher.
Yeah, he finally stumbled over here to talk to us tonight, but how about it, Matthew Barkhouse? This car really fast in our practice session, really fast in qualifying, and it showed a lot of race pace speed. You made a mistake, you got past there by the 13 of Guillaume Fort. What did you need, though, to get right back by?
Whatever his magic formula is to save tires, I really like to figure it out, because you really can't touch him on a long run. I can run with him speed-wise, but once you get 50 laps or so, he's in a league of his own.
We've seen this car here this season have a lot of speed. What happened in the off-season here to be able to contend here this season on a week-in and week-out basis?
Yeah, I just started running more of the official stuff. Really helped me kind of hone in on this car, and it seemed to transfer over because all we run is fixed stuff. I never run the open setup races, so it's great once you start getting a lot of laps in. It kind of transfers over from league to league.
So you're talking about getting laps in, being able to compete here. How did you save this car here tonight? Guillaume got into the back of you. That car got squirrely. It looked like it was going to hook dead right. You were able to hang on to her. You were able to hold the race lead at the time.
Yeah, me and him always race hard, and I honestly was blocking pretty hard. He was way faster. I don't know why I tried to hold him off as long as I did, because I knew it was going to matter, but me and him always have good hard racing, and it still worked out in the end. We got a top 2 finish.
You got a top 2 finish here tonight, and a top 5 points. Run going. One more race left. What's it going to take here to either park this 15 in victory lane for the first time this season and to hold on to your point spot?
Some less green flag runs. I'm pretty good for the first 35 to 50 laps, I think, and after that, Guillaume seems to hold on to tires. So if we get a few cautions throughout the race, I think we'll have pretty good speed to get the win.
Well, we'll see next week if you're able to hang on for the longest race. It's 161 laps, so go practice some of that tire saving strategies. Maybe pay Guillaume, see if he can give you those pointers. I mean, I'm sure it's like cheathack.com or something that he's got over there. But hey, before we let you go, who's on the side of this beautifully done up car?
Yeah, we got R&R Kinsman's Auto Salvage, and then my brother there, Mike and Sanders Sign Group, putting this on for us.
There you have it. Short, simple, to the point. Just going to try and hold on to tires, and that 15 will compete for more wins. But I believe standing by over there with Kelly. And Kelly, are you sharing your medal with that driver?
No, it's mine.
Oh, well who you got over there then?
I'm caught up now with Brian Hacker. Brian, you're our third place finisher tonight, but you had to fight for that position. I mean, what was it like trying to get through the field, especially in that last green flag run we had?
Yeah, I didn't really want to see the yellow. I think G had it regardless, like he has pretty much all season. But I thought we had enough there at the end. I think there was, 20 or so laps left when that yellow came out. I thought we might be able to snag second. And when the yellow came out, it allowed everybody to get tires, and I think we all kind of evened up there at the end. I've never been a fast lap, qualifying lap kind of guy at Five Flags. This isn't my style of track, so to hold on for third, I'm happy with it.
And before the caution came out, we saw a few drivers come down pit road. Was there a case of you guys not having enough fuel, or were the tires just getting that shredded that a couple people made the call?
Yeah, I mean, this track is notorious for chopping up tires, and I think that was the case. We had plenty of fuel, so my guess is some guys just got them down to the cords and had to come in and put on new hoops.
Well, next week we are going to have our longest race of the season to close out the season. How are you going to make those tires last for 161 laps?
I like the tire saving game. I think it's fun. It's realistic. You can't just run these things to the limit for 100 or next week 160 something laps. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a challenge for sure. Even if we get a caution at halfway, that's still putting 80 laps on the tires each way. So we're gonna have to be patient, not go out there and try to win it on lap one. But Lanier's a fun track. It's one of my favorites. Glad it was one of Dane's favorites too, so we can honor him there next week.
Yeah, it'll be good to honor Dan once again. We always will run a race at his favorite track in his honor. But before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your third place run here tonight?
Scott Austin Designs, always putting together good looking wraps for us. Carbon Junction, who else? Aberdeen Lodge, Boulder Beer Bar, the guys that have been with us for a long time. I'm not like G, I'm getting rusty up here. He's got this narrowed down. I think we should put a bounty on him for next week, like Bill said. But thanks to you guys for coming out and doing this. Congrats, Kelly, on being a world medalist, and also thanks to Al for putting on this league. I know it's a lot to do, and he does a good job doing it with limited time.
All right, well, thank you, Brian. Hopefully we'll hear from you again next week.
Let's hope.
All right, that was Brian Hacker, driver of the number 2 and our third place finisher here tonight. Now I'm going to send it back to Roger for a few closing thoughts.
A great race here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. Just 2 caution flags to bunch the field back up in a 14-lap shootout where Guillaume Fort was able to hold off the strong charging number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Brian Hacker sat around the 3rd, 4th position all night. He'll walk away with a podium finish. Joe Schaefer Jr. will finish into the 4th spot, while Scott Austin rounding out the top 5. Gary Eschen coming home with a 6th place finish. Al Smith in 7th. Then it was the driver that picked up the most spots. Car number 47, VT. Rodney Hontoon will finish into position number 8. Mike Alexander comes back to finish 9th, and Tyler Bushy will round out the top 10, the final car on the lead lap. So with just 10 drivers left on the lead lap at the end of the 100-lap feature here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway, what will happen when we go to the smallest track and run the most laps? Next week, we will go to the Lanier Raceway for the Hanson Starter Shop Dan Dubuque Memorial for 161 laps. Dan Dubuque, a longtime member of the Upstate Racing League, one of the founding members here, one of the drivers that have ran the most races. Unfortunately, a couple years back, we had lost Dan, but we have never forgot Dan as we go to his favorite track and we go 100 laps plus whatever the number Dan ran. Well, 61. So that's where we get the 161 laps next week at Lanier. Race fans, we hope you enjoyed tonight's race. We can tell you that next week's race, the championship night, well, that's the memorial race for Dan, and we're going to put on one heck of a show in his memory. So for the world medalist of Kelly Dahl, my name's Roger Muth, and everybody with the Upstate Racing League, along with Best Golf Recreations and the Turn 3 Racing Network, we hope you enjoyed tonight's show, and we'll see you 1 week from now.